So originally I had no intention of watching The Acolyte, the new Star Wars series that has started streaming on Disney+. We have 2 episodes so far. A few people have watched the first 4 episodes that managed to get screeners, and I have just heard nothing but nonsense about it. And it was one of those things where I'm like, well, I've heard what I need to hear. I don't want to check this out. But the more I heard and just how absurd it was in terms of writing, the characterization of certain people in the show, I needed to check it out for myself. So I watched the first 2 episodes, and I can honestly say, in my humble opinion, this is no longer Star Wars. And obviously, I don't want to be mean to the people involved on the show, but this is now beating a dead horse at this point when it comes to the Star Wars franchise. For the longest time, Star Wars hasn't exactly been Star Wars, but now this just feels soulless. And at some points, it seems like it's been written by AI. And you'll be hearing that a lot when it comes to people reviewing The Acolyte who have bad things to say. Whether it was written by AI, it's very CW, soulless, the writing, the dialogue, it's just all very bland. And it is true. In terms of the whole murder mystery thing, if it's an effective murder mystery, you find out who done it on the last episode, not the first episode. Not only that, we have a bit of false advertising with the fact that Carrie-Anne Moss dies in the first 10 minutes of the first episode. Yes, they brought Carrie-Anne Moss into the Star Wars universe. Trinity from The Matrix, showcasing that she's still got it when it comes to the physicality side. I will give this show some credit when it comes to the choreography and the fight work, the stunt work. It is very Hong Kong-esque, and it does work somewhat, and it was nice to see Carrie-Anne Moss in action, but my god, the fact that you had the balls to kill her off in the first 10 minutes, that's not a good hook, and that is not how you hook me first off. I think after Mandalorian Season 3, that's when I'm like, I've tapped out, I've signed out, I've left the chat, and I haven't even watched Andor at this point. Not because I just didn't want to, I just didn't want to get burned once again, but apparently Andor is definitely worth checking out, and especially after seeing the first 2 episodes, The Acolyte, I feel like I need to go back and give Andor a chance, because I've heard nothing but good stuff, but at the same time, I still didn't want to get burned. But then with Mando Season 3, that was a massive letdown. Ahsoka, the Kenobi series, I thought that was going to be a winner. Yes, it had moments of greatness, especially when it came to Hayden Christensen's return, and of course, Ewan McGregor coming back, but not even those two could save the series on a whole. Now we have a new cast of characters, which I just do not care for, and a storyline that I do not care for. We have the legendary Lee Jung-jae from Squid Game in his first full English-speaking role. He does a damn good job. He has clearly tried his best with the dialogue. He's probably looked at the script and he seems like a pro where he'd just be like, what the fuck is this? And he's just given it his all. He is definitely the highlight of the series. And that was the thing. When Disney acquired Lucasfilm, we were promised that things weren't going to change. Things were going to be the same. It was going to be business as usual. Cut to all these years later, and what the fuck has happened? Where are we at this point? And you know what's bad? Where I don't even want to watch the rest of the series now, and I should go back and watch Andor, something that has been out for quite some time. And again, going back to the whole murder mystery aspect, if you know who it is in the first episode, there is no point. There is no need to continue watching. And then there's this dude with a clearly fake beard who looks like he's a little child in grade school doing a play that's based on Kelsey Grammer's look from Cheers. This, unfortunately, no longer feels like Star Wars to me, and Star Wars hasn't felt like Star Wars to me for quite some time. At a time where we should be celebrating all these new series coming out, especially when it came to like Ahsoka, Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett. I was so psyched when that was announced. And again, just forgetful. Disney, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I know there are going to be fans of The Acolyte, and that is great. If you enjoy it, more power to you. But to me, when it seems like the dialogue has been written by AI, where you type, what do you think a hip, cool Star Wars for all the new youths would look like? This is what you get. You get characters that I just do not care for, but at the same time, you have actors in this that I care for. And it just seems like an absolute waste of talent. And something immediately felt off when Carrie-Anne Moss's first line is, "Yes, my child." I was like, what? I will give the show this. It is beautiful to look at. The fight choreography is pretty damn impressive, especially that first barroom brawl at the beginning. And yes, I am going into spoiler territory. I probably should have mentioned that, but at this point, who gives a flying fuck? And again, I don't want to be mean or bash the creators, even though one of the creators used to work for Harvey Weinstein. Ooh. If Disney came out and said there is no more Star Wars, we're not continuing this anymore, I'd be fine. I'm happy with what we got. Not now, with the latest offerings, but what came before it. I'm happy. So guys, this is a very off the cuff sporadic rant. And again, I had no intention of watching The Acolyte, but it was one of those things where I had to see it to believe it and see it for myself with my own eyes. And again, this just no longer feels like Star Wars to me. We're only 2 episodes in with a budget of $180 million. You think it'd be a surefire way, especially with a new cast of characters that could have been so intriguing with some damn good thought-provoking writing like we had with the original Star Wars films. It just felt like every line in the original trilogy and even some portions of the prequels seemed like they had thought-provoking lines. Every line had care put into them. Now it is slapdash, seems AI generated and just soulless and a shell of what Star Wars used to be. I'm not telling you how to feel, I'm just telling you how I feel, and the feels aren't there for Star Wars at the moment. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.